Hi everyone, welcome to this first video in a series of videos that we will be creating around building enterprise scale application using generative AI and custom built AI models. This video will form the basis of the rest of the video tutorials around the topic of using generative AI to build an enterprise grade solution. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick introduction of the company I work for and also the product that we have in beta right now, which is being tested. That will be the foundation of the overall series of tutorials that we will be creating. So I work for a company called CodeTricks Data, and what we primarily a consultant firm, but we are also currently just finished building our beta product. Now, let me talk a little bit about the product. The product has two phases or two interfaces. One is the consumer-facing interface, and the second one is the private enterprise or provider-facing interface. The product itself is what providers might think of as a clinical diagnostic assistant tool. That is one of its functions. The second function is to augment their billing pipelines, right? And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. On the consumer side, we consider this as a health research tool. And also a secondary function is the power of the consumer to be well equipped to manage their healthcare costs whenever they visit the doctor or whenever they use their health insurance. All right, so I'll go through this product real quickly, and and that will be the basis for the second video, which will be a high-level architecture showing the various components that can be used in building such a solution, right? The various generative AI components, the custom models that are in place, and also the tools like the RAG solutions that can be used, and so many more architectural components, right? So that will be the second video. But for now, let's do a quick run through of the user components or the user interface for this particular product. It's quite a straightforward product, at least from the user side of things, right? On the provider side, it's a lot more complex, right? So from the user perspective, you log into the system, you may land on the landing page. Obviously, you see the UI, which most of us are used to when dealing with generative AI products. So there are two main functions of the solution, right? One is healthcare analysis. So basically, everyone goes to medical doctors. You walk into a doctor office, great. They're very great at what they do, but you don't spend that much time. So the whole idea is for you to be able to perform in-depth analysis or research on your own, right? Made very easily, right, by the product. And for you to be well equipped to advocate for yourself, right? So that is one main function of this product. The second function, right, is bill analysis. So sometimes you go to the medical doctor and you're expecting $100 bill, and at the end of the month you get a bill from your insurance company and you find that you have $1,000 bill. So that is usually a big problem. Sometimes it's a mistake from the coding folks that work for the hospital, and sometimes it's generally an error that was not caught, right? So one of the main functions of the product is to empower users to actually know what they are supposed to be charged, right? Anyway, that is a very high level overview of the main functions of the product. And let's jump into one of the views here. So for instance, a general user might come in and say, I have a sore throat, right? And you click search, and the system itself uses the kind of methodology that medical doctors use, right? So we have a possible condition outlook here. It uses a heuristic algorithm behind the scenes, and it uses both generative AI models and also custom AI models to produce the result. Again, we will talk about this in subsequent videos. So for instance, I just put in sore throat and it gives me a bunch of possible medical, right? Now, this particular view that you're seeing will change from the current beta testing. Before we go into production, the view will be a little bit different. But anyway, you get possible outcomes. Then the system also recommends further questions that you need to ask, right? And you also see a probability chart. This is a high level, a simplistic view of what the provider interface looks like. Again, you get all that information. Now you might be asking, why can't I just go into LLM or general chat GPT and type this in? LLMs are not very good at building relationships, right? They're not very good at managing relationships between different data points, right? So that is one of the things that this system particularly deals with. So the system is able to manage relationships and, based on graph solutions behind the scenes. So that is one of the advantages of using such a solution. Now, again, the second part of this is that LLMs cannot give you the ability to connect to providers, as you can see here. So for instance, I know my chat is the provider. It's the provider that my primary care physician uses. So I can go in there, click, and upload all the available data that they have about me, right? So I can get my full records. I can get the medications that I currently take. I can get my lab results, right? I can get my doctor notes, and I can get my medical history, right? So I can get all that information, and and so when I type in sore throat, for instance, it's not just the LLM spitting answers. It's going to pull up everything from my record, and it's going to use that in combination to the chat query that I have, and obviously that is how you get these results that I analyze. Now let's move into this. So that is a high-level view of this particular component. The second component is the health bill analysis. Now this is a big deal for the provider. On the provider side, this is a big deal, right? Because they spend a lot of money and time dealing with insurance companies, making adjustments and all, and a lot of similar activities. Now, this solution aims to take care of that from the provider side. But from the user interface, we try to provide users with a simplistic view of what's happening. So basically, the user can come in here, connect to their provider, like you saw before, and we will upload, like for instance, the doctor documentation and a lot of the other components from their medical data. And based on that, right, and also based on the insurance information provided by user, we can come in here and create the codes based on the information we've uploaded from their provider, create the code, and then but merge that code to whatever insurance they have, and figure out how the insurance is going to charge them, or what the insurance is going to cover. And then we can provide the user with a possible estimate of what their cost would be. Based on our testing so far, this has been very, very close, right, to actual billing cost. And on the provider side, this is a little bit more sophisticated, right? But yes, this is a high-level view of current solution, which is in beta, which is in testing. And this is the solution that the next lesson that I present will build on this, and it will be a high-level architecture outlined from the programming tools that I use, Python, blah blah blah, to actual core enterprise frameworks that I used, right? And yes, so that will be the next lecture that we jump into. Once again, thank you and welcome to this first video in a series of videos that we will be providing. And I hope to see you next. Bye.